Have you heard of Neville Goddard? He is one of the great spiritual teacher and an author. In today's video, we are going to discuss the 3 words that can change your life by bringing a whole different version of you into this world. If you want to manifest any desire, or if you want a whole different life for yourself, it can work for anything that you want. So stick with me till the end of this video, and I will give you those 3 words which you can use to bring about any changes in your life. Hello, and welcome back to my new video. If you are new to my channel, hello. As I have already mentioned today's topic, let's get started. The preview of this Neville Goddard technique is that it is drawn out from the book, The Law and the Promise, written by Neville Goddard. This 3-word technique has brought many successful stories into life. Many people have actually tried this technique, have said that they have ended up with the exact result that they wanted from this manifestation technique. It works like a charm for most of the people, and I will say it with confidence that it will work like a charm for you too, if you practice this method with all the instructions that I will be giving in a while. This technique is very simple yet very effective, so I am sure that everyone who's hearing this and listening to me carefully will love to give it a try to this technique. Now, this technique will just take about 30 seconds of your time, but before jumping right into the technique, I want to share with you a story that Neville Goddard mentioned in his book, The Law and the Promise. This is a mind-blowing example of how this technique works for a lady who was in need of money and financial stability in her life. This woman told Neville Goddard that she was in a phase of her life where she was struggling financially. She was looking for jobs but was not getting any. She wanted to buy a car, but she did not have a job so that she can buy a car. She was finding it hard to even pay her rent. At that time, this lady heard about this technique of Neville Goddard that changed her life completely. In her exact words, she said that, "I began to apply these 3 words instead of thinking of and imagining everything that I needed. I tried to capture the feeling that something wonderful was happening to me, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now." I would say over and over to myself as I fell asleep, these 3 magic words. I repeated that imaginary action and feeling for 2 months night after night. And one day in early October, I met a casual friend that I hadn't seen for months, who informed me he was about to leave on a trip to New York. I lived in New York many years ago, and we talked about the city for a few moments and then parted. 1 month later to the day, this man called at my apartment and simply handed me a certified check in my name for $25,000. Now, how she got that $25,000 check was just amazing, because $25,000 is a huge sum of money. She goes on to tell the story that when her friend was talking with a person that the lady used to know when she was back living in New York, did become insanely rich, and when the rich individual knew that her friend is in contact with the lady, he tells her friend to hand her a check of $25,000. From that moment onwards, she was also kept in the will of that rich person. That person said that he wanted to support the lady for her work as an artist. He even puts her into his will and for her entire life, and she gets monthly checks of $25,000. That person who gave her those checks passes out without even meeting her again in his life, but the lady's life changed. The lady says that after using this technique, this Neville Goddard's 3-word technique, life changed drastically on her part, and she gives all the credits to these 3 words from Neville Goddard's technique. Isn't it wonderful? Emphasis on these words, because these are the words that Neville Goddard mentioned in his book, The Law and the Promise. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful to just think about all the things that you want in your life? Visualize it and envision all of those things that you want in your life and just say it out loud. Isn't it wonderful? When you are envisioning it, get into that feeling of that desire, because that is where the real fun lies. Just think about your desire and fully get immersed in that feeling, because that feeling is going to take you where you really want to be. That is the feeling you are to achieve when you are manifesting with this technique. The feeling you get when you get to the desired outcome. The feeling you will get at the end of this desire that is supposed to be your goal when you are manifesting with these 3 words. Isn't it wonderful? So again, when you are envisioning it, when you are visualizing it, when you are thinking about that desire, just live in that moment. Don't think how you are going to get there. Don't think what is the effective step to take to get to that desired outcome. Don't think about all of those things because it just feels good when you think about it, doesn't it? Don't dwell into how, when and why. Just know that there is this magic present around you in the form of energy, and it is going to take you to where your desire is. This is what the lady did every night before going to bed. She envisioned her desire, she visualized her desire, she visualized being an artist. She visualized being wealthy, and she said, "Isn't it wonderful?" Being present in that desire and saying, "Isn't it wonderful?" is the technique that Neville Goddard mentioned in his book, The Law and the Promise. You can do this technique in the morning if you wanted to, but it is most effective when you are doing it before falling asleep because, as in most of the techniques of Neville Goddard, he advises his followers to practice it at night time before bed because of its effectiveness and because of the power of our subconscious mind to hold that feeling, that emotion, and that thought throughout the night. This is what makes it very effective to do it at night. Now, let's quickly go through practicing this technique again. First off, when you are drifting off to sleep, close your eyes and let your thoughts flow like a river. Like the river which flows continuously. Let those positive thoughts just flow in there. Don't get stopped by those rocks and dams. Those rocks and dams here represents your negative thoughts and the beliefs that you hold on to because you believe that those things are how the things are supposed to go on. But don't just dwell upon those things because they are not going to do you any good. Don't hold back because of those stones and dams. Let those thoughts flow like a river. Let go of all of those negative beliefs. Take some deep breath in and repeat those words. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Repeat it as many times as you want until then, unless you feel that overwhelming feeling capture you completely. Once you are in the feeling of feeling very overwhelmed, all the images, all the pictures and scenes of your desired outcome will start popping up in your head, and you will see a clear path where you have everything that you want. Then after, you just have to be in that moment and immerse yourself completely in that moment, and then drift off to sleep by saying, "Isn't it wonderful?" Do this for 30 days and witness the results in front of your own eyes. This is a very powerful technique. As I mentioned earlier, many people have noticed significant change in their lifestyle after practicing this technique. Now it is your turn to do so. Try this technique and write about your experience with this technique. I would love to hear your experiences, so do try it out and rush to the comments section and inspire others with your experience. If you are interested in other of Neville Goddard's techniques, I will link that in the description below. Don't forget to check them out. By saying this, we have come to the end of this video. If you have come this far, I thank you for listening to me. If you liked this video, press that like button down below and share it with your friends and family. It would mean a lot to me if you even subscribe to my channel for more contents like this. Thank you.